Begin with the top story, the news out of the grand jury in New York investigating Donald Trump, who's been on defensive about his own predicted arrest, which didn't happen last week. He's added to the possible criminal evidence against him by posting something that we do not normalize here in the news or in America, and that is violent imagery tempting further attacks, death threats, violence against the DA that is investigating Donald Trump under the rule of law. The former president also lied over the weekend about this case with some evidence-free statements that we're not airing tonight. Now, from the public evidence, we are seeing a criminal probe that continues to move steadily towards a finish line. Whether that's a finish line of indictments or not, no one knows yet. But they are progressing. Final witnesses, key evidence. We don't have any indication that this probe is late or off kilter. They are moving methodically. Now, Trump did try to upend the sort of public PR about this case with what can only be described as a very unusual, perhaps unprecedented prediction by a former president of his own arrest. That was supposed to be last Tuesday. It proved inaccurate. Tonight, though, we can see DA Bragg is continuing the work, the legal investigative work. Today, they brought a key fact witness before this grand jury, someone who's cut deals with Trump over the years and who was involved in efforts to try to shape media coverage when Donald Trump was the underdog and flailing in 2016. With an outlet that you can see right here, many consider a kind of OG purveyor of totally fake news. I'm talking about the tabloid The National Enquirer, known for its salacious, jocular, and sometimes quite misleading stories. Now, most people know of this tabloid. You see the headlines there, whether or not you recall its once quite powerful CEO, David Pecker, who helped Trump in many ways, including squirreling away supposed, quote, secrets for Trump in a private safe, and then helping bury stories from women in 2016 who might have derailed Trump's campaign with public stories at that key and vulnerable point when he was very off balance over the Access Hollywood scandal. Now, Donald Trump is trying to maintain deniability over so many different issues, and that, let's be clear, has been an effective legal strategy at times. But one of Michael Cohen's tapes caught Donald Trump in the loop, not only about these payments in general, but specifically about deals with David, who faced the grand jury today. David, the friend over at the Enquirer.
I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David.
The friend there, David Pecker, wouldn't prove to be a friend forever, and that's back in the news tonight, because if you follow this story, it's all pretty familiar, at least echoes of it. You may recall the feds went through all this in Mr. Cohen's case. Now, a point about that that's kind of bad news for Trump. This current case is local, not federal. And we have a system of government, you may remember from, well, school, where you have a federal and a state and local government. So they're very separate as a legal and jurisdictional matter. Why is that bad news for Trump? Well, yes, they went through all of this in the federal case previously, but the local case is separate. And even if a Republican were to win back the White House in the future, because this is local, there is no possible pardon for Trump in New York if indicted or convicted. It has no link to the feds whatsoever. And that's the way the founders set up our system of government. So I mention that because back during that federal case, we actually asked the lawyer for Stormy Daniels at the time, the now convicted Michael Avenatti, about how all this was bubbling up, how Mr. Pecker and the people with his company, AMI, might respond to what was then this newly broken out federal heat.
So, Michael, where does this go next?
Well, I mean, I think that, gentlemen like Mr. Pecker and others with AMI, I mean, look, these are not hardened criminals, Ari. So if they have any potential exposure, they're going to be doing everything in their power to hit the exits. And what I mean by that is they're going to cooperate fully, I would expect. They're going to provide any and all information about Mr. Cohen and Mr. Trump in a very expeditious manner.
They did provide information. Mr. Pecker, who had cut previous deals for Trump, appeared to cut one against Trump. Pecker's company helped those federal prosecutors, avoided prosecution for the company or Mr. Pecker, and provided what appeared to be some evidence, best as we can tell from those cases, about how that media company was collaborating with Trump's campaign on plots, some executed, some only attempted, that were all designed to secretly bury stories and buy the silence of those women or find ways to do so, even if they didn't directly buy the stories. Now, Mr. Pecker has every reason to be truthful to this jury today and continue to try to put all this behind him. We know he wants to do that because of these prior deals he cut. That may be different from other fact witnesses like Alan Weisselberg, who didn't cooperate and was convicted, but has never, in any of this legal process, coughed up much information that is directly negative or adverse for Donald Trump. In fact, legally, that's one reason why he is at Rikers and not a free person, because we have every reason to believe that if he provided full factual information, he might have gotten a more lenient sentence. We know that from how prosecutors build cases. Mr. Pecker, unlike Mr. Weisselberg, is not tied to Donald Trump forever. They don't work at the same company. So the testimony, which kept the grand jury so busy today, is testimony that, if it's anything like Mr. Pecker's last round, is not going to be very helpful to Donald Trump. Now, what comes next? I don't have any predictions for you. I can only tell you the calendar, which is under the rules of this grand jury. The next day they can meet is Wednesday. Whether they will hear from another witness or hold a vote or take more time, well, I can't predict that. But Neil Katyal, former acting Solicitor General for the Obama administration, well known for his crystal ball, I'm sure he will predict all kinds of events like a veritable Back to the Future cameo. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Ari.
No, I know what a smart lawyer you are, so I don't think you're going to predict beyond what we know. But based on the past, what does it mean to you that Mr. Pecker faced the grand jury today?
Well, first of all, Ari, it's just so sordid, all of this. The hush money, National Enquirer, Donald Trump. I mean, it's all... it's so unbecoming of when you think of a president, former president, and all of that, to even be having this conversation. But the news today, it's the second time that this Mr. Pecker has met with this particular grand jury, which indicates to me that the prosecutors think that he has something important to hear. And it seems like Pecker has switched from his policy of catch and kill to one of catch and spill. He's talking, and that's why he's coming before the grand jury. And so I'm not going to predict, a day or anything, but I do think that the testimony today brings us closer to the indictment. I mean, Donald Trump beastas have been all over the airwaves saying things like, oh, this district attorney is flinching because he didn't indict last Tuesday like he was supposed to. But, you and I know there was no Tuesday timetable except in a Donald Trump tweet. And, at the end of the day, it does seem to me that the DA is actually doing everything possible to button up the case before bringing it. So, it's sure he could at the end of the day flinch, but so far I see no signs that that's what's going on.